Hey everyone, welcome to Tea Time with Two Lees. This is the first of what will be many weekly broadcasts on our channel. So let's get right to it.
All right, so starting off today, it rained where I live. That's huge news.
Huge
We,
news! It's
we
raining
need
in California.
we need the rain here. It rained for like 24 hours straight. It was so exciting, which is sad, but and we had a storm about 5 days ago, and just the one day and the storm from a couple days ago, we've had more rain than we did all of last year.
Nuh-uh, in one day?
We just had that nice, like light, steady rain for 24 hours straight.
Right.
And
Okay, so you're a local tea. Your thrill of the day is the fact that
the
it was
rain.
raining the past 24 hours. My local news of the day is the fact that it was 70 something degrees and we can actually go outside and not sweat our asses off. Excuse me. Can't do that. Beep.
We can't swear.
No, you can't. This is YouTube. No, you can't swear. It was really nice. Like, if we got a little chilly, we could wear a sweatshirt. You know, it's kind of like 70s in New York, or like low 70s. You can come to Florida anytime now. And you can stay till like mid-May. Then you got to go.
Yeah. So today
What?
is National Candy Day.
Yes, it is. It is.
And in my household, everybody will be like so excited because they're candy junkies.
Really? What's your favorite candy?
I'm not so much the candy junkie. My favorite candy, like the sweet candy, like sugar candy, or like chocolate candy. Because if it's chocolate candy, it's Reese's peanut butter cups or Reese's Pieces.
Same here.
And if it's sugar candy,
Well, I have to stop you there for a second with the chocolate because my ultimate favorite is Reese's, but I love chocolate covered peanuts. So it's kind of the same thing, peanut butter and chocolate, but I love Goobers. Goobers are like the best, the chocolate covered peanuts. Like, you know, when you go to the movies, you used to get Raisinets or Goobers.
right? Yeah,
I love the Goobers. When hubby likes to come in and surprise me sometimes, he brings me a box of Goobers. I got you something. It's either Goobers or Reese's. One or the other. But candy?
Sugar candy, I don't really have, I think, a favorite sugar one. Like I like Skittles, I like a Starburst, I like a Sweet Tart, I like certain lollipops. But
lollipops. What's your favorite candy from the 80s?
Airheads.
I remember when we used to get remember when the ice cream truck used to come around, Manny? We used to wait for Manny. Manny
would make us go out there and get you a cherry flavored blow pop all the time.
And you guys used to get the Fun Dip?
Oh yeah, we get Fun Dip. We get we got the Airheads, it was the watermelon, it was the green one. Mm-hmm. If we got the Fun Dip, and we would just use our fingers.
And don't forget Jolly Ranchers, but the actual, not the small ones that they ended up coming out with, the actual, you know, like
they were like, you pulled down the paper and it was like a lollipop. Like it was a long square rectangular thing.
Yeah, watermelon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was my favorite.
We never really got ice cream from the ice cream truck.
No, we didn't, did we?
No, we got candy.
Well, actually we did. Remember Amazing Crunches and stuff?
I mean, we did, but we primarily got candy.
Chipwiches, remember?
Chipwiches were the bomb. Those were the only, that was it. And then when Mr. Softy came around.
Well, Mr. Softy is a whole different ballgame. When you want to talk ice cream and an ice cream truck, that's the only ice cream to get, is Mr. Softy. When people hear that Mr. Softy bell or music, wow. It's like, everything just stops. We become like Eddie Murphy with the ice cream man.
Exactly. In fact, when I was back there a couple years ago, and we were at a park, and all these people are walking by, and there's noise and commotion and everything, and I turn around because I hear the jingle, and I'm going, is that in my mind? I did just step off a plane, and I'm just back here. But I turn around, and there's the truck right in front of me, and I'm like, oh. And people are looking at me like I'm nuts. And then, of
And
course, I
we were
get the
at
standard explanation of, if she's from California. Oh, okay.
well, you know, it's funny. We were at a carnival type festival thing here down by the beach, and this is when we were down south more. I believe it was in Stewart, and we're hanging out. We're just walking around, and all of a sudden, you know, you see all these kind of vendors out and tables and stuff, and you see all these kind of food trucks, and all of a sudden there's a Mr. Softy truck, and I said, "Shut up!" I'm like, I said, "Come here." I'm like, "Gabe, come here, come here, come here." He's like, "What?" I'm like, and this is before he even went to New York, so he didn't know what Mr. Softy was. I'm like, "You were gonna die when you had this ice cream." But and I thought, well, they're in Florida, right? So I mean,
It's
when
not going to
people think of
taste the
food,
same.
yeah, it's not gonna be the same. And then I woke up to the truck, and wouldn't you know, I knew the person behind in the truck behind the
Of
counter.
course you did. Of
I went to
course you
school there.
did.
I went to school there. She dated Johnny, my cousin, my other cousin.
Of course.
She did. She was infatuated with him. But she was always cool. But she was really into my cousin. Anyhow, we had the best ice cream, and Gabe was like, "Oh my god!" So when I took him to New York, and we're hanging out where we used to live,
Uh-huh.
and that truck came around, he was like, he darted. He knew he heard the sound, knew the sound. He's like, "Oh my god!" And he loved it. And he used to get like the double cones, on
Yeah.
the chocolate, yeah, or a shake. He loves a good shake. We used to do the cones. He can have the shake, but it was the best. It was the best. How do we get from candy to ice cream? I guess it all kind of runs the same.
Well, because you brought up the ice cream truck getting the candy and
Yeah.
all
That's
that.
gonna happen, guys. Just so you know, we're gonna talk about something, and it's gonna bring up something else.
But there you go. National Candy Day was our point.
Yeah, I know, right? What's your favorite candy? Let us know in the comments. No, I'm going off of TMZ here. There's an article that says that he probably killed himself. Florida
Yeah,
police.
the Northport police said the same thing. Probably it occurred almost as soon as he arrived there that day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it wasn't very long. Now, how they know all that, I don't know. But that's what they're saying, is that they seem very certain in when they're saying it. So I guess we'll find out in another week or two.
Probably based on their remains and how long they've been there. I wonder what really happened. Well, you said that they found a journal, right? But wasn't it underwater?
Yeah, but it was in a waterproof bag.
Really? So I wonder what's in it then. He probably wrote something down.
He did drawings a lot. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, nothing has been said or come out anymore in like a while now. But the police and the FBI have made a few mistakes, and they've come forward with admitting some of that.
Right.
But other than that, I think everybody's just waiting on confirmation of remains. It could have been a newer thing, and so it really weighed on him more heavily than somebody who has been abusing for a while. That's why he did what he did. Because typically users don't care. That's what they do.
Well, I mean, you have a girl who's sitting there crying, blaming herself for the argument was so that they wouldn't take him away, which is what I think a lot of victims tend to do. I just think that, maybe he does have a temper. Doesn't mean that maybe he beat her and stuff, but I think he could have lost it, especially when you're like out in I don't know how high up they were or whatever. Altitude can mess with you too.
Yeah, in fact, I get altitude sickness myself, and it does mess with you in various strange and odd ways sometimes. I'm very like, grr.
Right.
So, and if she had been upset and yelling and or crying and carrying on, and it was late at night or something, and he's just trying to like, be quiet, be quiet, be quiet, and it got out of hand.
They may have been fighting just so bad he snapped, and like, not that it's an excuse by any means, but it's
right. No, not at all. It's just
happened. Yeah, something that could have happened that like, and 2 seconds later he's like, "Oh my god," like, or
right,
maybe she pushed her, she fell, she hit her head, but they said it was a strangulation though.
Right. So it was a little bit more than that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I hope that they just they bothered to get all of America and the world as involved as they did. So they kind of need to make sure they continue to share the facts, and the fact that her family has been just as in the dark as the rest of us. That was wrong.
Right.
They need to be informed for sure.
Absolutely.
So,
do those people, are they still protesting outside of her house?
no, they're not doing that, but they're still trying to get justice for Gabby Petito, and kind of going after investigating the people that were on the search, the different resources that were sent out there. And they have their dockets, and they have their journals, and they have their reports, and they have body cam footage. And there's a law in Florida that allows that to be open information, and it can be requested. And so they're going to be doing that and going through the information and seeing if they did a bad job, skipped things, or what went on, because it was just so unclear outwardly towards all of us anyways. So
well, yeah, for money, they're not going to tell us everything. I mean, they got to keep things private so that.
But then the fact that they seem to be on the wrong path the whole time, it's like, what?
Yeah. I do find it odd that the second this water let up, or the second the parents went out, ooh, hello, there he is. They found them.
Right. Yeah. That's sort of what everybody's going, come on. Yeah. What does that even mean? Like, nobody knows. What does it even mean? It just, something's not right is what it means.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out what the end results will be. All right, moving on. What about Alec Baldwin in this case? They're now saying there might be criminal charges filed.
I saw something earlier today about that. Alec and a bunch of the others have been very cooperative with talking to the police, the sheriff, everybody that they need to, and have been pretty open. But a few people now have lawyered up and are either not talking anymore or their story changed. And those would be the people that actually handed him the gun.
I just don't understand how, you're on a movie set. You have a gun there's not supposed to be any live bullets anywhere. How on earth did the live bullets get there?
Right. That's the main problem. Yeah. Is that they should never have been there.
Charges against who? Alec? He didn't purposely do this.
Right. And that's
we don't think so. You don't want to go down on rabbit holes or anything, but
I think that by technicalities, he'll have to be brought up on something, but not it's going to fall on other people.
I think the studio is going to be liable.
The people that hired the people who messed up, the people that messed up, like all of those people, like the chain there is really going to get slammed, and those people are probably never going to work in the city of Los Angeles again.
It lands on the producers and the studio because they hired them, so that's who's going to end up being liable. But there's insurance for things that happen on sets and stuff. So
I'm sure there's going to be lawsuits about wrongful death, and so it's.
You want to know what is odd? She was married to a lawyer who supposedly worked for the firm hired by the Clintons. And she was doing a documentary on child trafficking.
Did she complete that documentary?
Don't know. There's your rabbit hole.
So if somebody wants to go down that, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes things are real coinkydinks. You never know.
The other day, there was a whole thing out in Texas, out on the grassy knoll. Did you hear about that?
No, what?
Oh, so I guess some people, they call themselves the QAnon. They had a large gathering of followers, and they went to Dallas, Texas, the grassy knoll where the president, John F. Kennedy, was once shot and murdered and died. And they were waiting for the arrival of his son, Junior.
Junior?
Yes, because he was to arrive yesterday or the other day, um, at that exact location this week. I don't know how or
Really?
why they knew, but that's what they thought was going to happen. And hundreds of people were there waiting for this arrival of this man who was going to come back from the dead at the location of where his father was murdered. And he was going to say he was going to be the new vice president and be working alongside Trump. And
Is that right?
just was confused because I'm like, well, that's not the current president. And there's somebody else as the VP at the moment. You can't just pop yourself in there. And that person is passed on. So they couldn't have been coming back. So there's a large rabbit hole right there. I don't even know where that stuff comes from. I don't even know what to say about that, really. It's surprising.
Okay, so who showed up? Let me guess. A limo pulled up or a helicopter flew by and that was him?
Nobody showed up.
Now, it would have
Nothing
been
ended up
funny
occurring.
had they had like a tinted SUV pull up and like 5 security guards surrounding somebody ducking trying to go somewhere, and they said that was him. Like, that would have made the whole story worthwhile, listening to.
Yeah, I'm like, if somebody is just doing this as a joke and pulling these people's chain, it's like, oh my gosh, it's gone too far, because too many people are really like they took plane flights to get to this location.
Wow.
I mean,
right.
it just seems a little.
Can you imagine if it was true? Just imagine for a second if it was true that he actually was still alive, wanted out of the limelight. I do know that according to the supposed, like, if he was alive, people, that they think that he's coming back. He disappeared to take everybody down who, murdered his father. So, yeah. So if he came back, right, or he was alive, that would be his agenda, right? To take all these people down or something.
Aren't all these people dead by now?
Well, I'm guessing Bush Sr., yeah, he is.
I mean, because they're all like,
waited too long, dude. Seriously though, I'm sure there's people all tied in together. That was his agenda. There's other people that I'm sure would be involved in like the whole, down tree going downward. But I mean, wouldn't that, if he did it like maybe 10, 15 years ago? How long ago did he die? 20 years ago? He's been gone that long, right?
He died in the 90s.
So let's just say he came back like 10 years ago. That would have been a good, decent time, I guess, to go, boo. Think about it. If that was his agenda, he came back and started, getting all these people arrested or taking them down or whatever it is that they think he was going to do. Wouldn't that be like the greatest story ever told?
Yeah, it would have been cool.
Yeah. I mean, besides biblical stuff, I'm not, exclude that. I'm just talking about like that would probably be one of the greatest things.
The QAnon crowd was super bummed that he did not appear.
Moving on. All right, what do we got with celebrities?
There's Kim Kardashian.
Oh no, what'd she do? What, the leather outfit?
Oh, you haven't heard? Oh, let me inform. What can you tell? She's hanging out with her new friend.
Oh, Pete Davidson?
Pete Davidson.
Is that not weird or what? Okay, here
they're holding hands, and they were caught with a smooch and a holding hands moment.
Really?
And apparently it all started, 2-3 weeks ago when she was on SNL.
Man, that guy. He must
I don't know what is about him, but yeah, you just sort of, okay, I guess. I mean, he's sweet, cute, funny. Like, there's an age difference there. It's just odd. Like, he reminds more like Scott.
Oh, right. God.
But Kim is a fan of Scott now.
Yeah, well, I like Scott. I really do. He's like the bad guy, but he's a good bad guy.
Oh, I love Scott. I freaking love him. I have since the beginning.
I feel really bad for him right now. I mean, I really do.
I'm very upset right now. I can't even talk about it.
Oh, yes, you can. That's why we're here. I'm really bummed for him because I just think, I mean, I know he loves Courtney, you know, and
Yeah, everybody knows.
right. So I think Scott loves Courtney the only way he knows how. He was his only child, and he was spoiled, and he was, you know, he just grew up with a spoiled, selfish attitude, you know,
Right.
and then both of his parents died within 6 months of each other, leaving him with no family at all. 6 years before that, he became part of this big Kardashian clan, and they are a big clan, you know.
Yeah.
And so him and Courtney, they've worked it out. They've as far as, you know, their children and stuff. They both love each other. You know, she loves him. She just can't deal with him anymore, and she has every right to be that way. She's
Hmm.
dealt with enough from him. She's more mature. She wanted to move on. She wants a life, and she deserves to be happy, and that's great. So I'm happy for her. I really am. And Travis, you know, has gone through his own stuff. He's got his own children. He's got, you know, a good head on his shoulders. He's a great musician, very, very talented, very talented. He makes her happy. They've been friends for a long time. That's the other reason why I feel bad for Scott, because Travis used to hang out at the house with his kids, with Scott and Courtney. So he hung out with them. He never thought Travis would be the one to kind of take his girl away, you know, because no matter how he looks at it, Courtney's always going to be his girl.
Right.
So I
And
feel really bad.
I read a headline that said something about, looks like Mama Kardashian is setting up her daughters with the bad boys this season.
Uh-oh, why? Who else?
Because they're
Oh,
labeling,
that's Pete Davidson. Right.
and they showed like both of their arms are just all tatted up, and it's just a different look for the Kardashian ladies.
Well, that is pretty funny. You know, now, like, they have the Hulu show coming. I don't know when that's supposed to start. I guess I should find that out. But it should be starting soon. And they have, like, you know, you got a Courtney Travis situation. Obviously, it's going to be on the show. Who knows what's going on with Khloe and Tristan? I hope she lets that guy go. I really do. Khloe's all about love, and she's all about forgiveness, wanting more children, and she's going to want more children with the father of, you know, her daughter. She's going to want her children to have the same father, which is another thing that Courtney wanted too. And then you got Kylie, who's pregnant, going to give birth sometime soon. And then who knows what's going on with Kendall? You never know. Kendall could get engaged this year. So Hulu's got a whole big bunch of stories coming out with the Kardashians, as if we haven't had enough.
Yeah, it's just 2021 sometime, it says.
Oh, and Kanye is now Ye. He's not Kanye.
Oh, yay, I'm glad.
He legally changed his name. And do you know
That
that
fits.
Kim's best friend, that food guy,
Oh,
used to be
yeah.
her promo guy, he used to work for her publicist. He
Right.
is no longer, I think his name is Jonathan Shabane. He is no longer Jonathan. He is now Food God.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah, they both of them legally changed their names. He goes by Food God now, and Kanye is just Ye.
Well, all right then.
Yeah. God.
I don't mean to be rude, but at the same time, it's like, how long are these relationships going to last? There's nobody that's been on that show for any real length of time.
Jason Momoa is in the news. He's quarantining with a pro skateboarder after catching COVID.
Oh, okay, weird.
I guess they're riding skateboards down hallways and stuff. Fun. I'd ride a skateboard with him. Look at that. Look at that. Beautimus. Just kidding. He's like my Robert Redford. You know, the way my mother, Robert Redford.
The way those boomers like that Robert Redford.
Yeah, they used to like
Clint Eastwood.
Like? Yeah, my mom liked Frankie Avalon. Who else? Sam Elliott. Oh, and they all loved what's his face. Oh, you know, Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so Jason Momoa is my Tom Selleck, my Robert Redford, my Frankie Avalon, my Brad Pitt is now Jason Momoa. Love that man. Love that man. The Kobe Bryant helicopter crash, the victim's family settled with the Los Angeles County over the photo sharing of all the, you know, crime scene. So they settled the lawsuit with them.
Huh.
Sad that he died.
Yeah, that was shocking. I remember I woke up and you had texted me that, and I'm looking at my phone half asleep going, why is she talking to me about Kobe Bryant? Why is she saying he's dead?
Yeah.
What is she talking about? Like you just didn't believe it.
It was hard to believe. It was like, what? And rest in peace to Rodney Wilson, the Gap Band founder, dead at 73. You know who the Gap Band is, right?
Yes.
You dropped a bomb on me, baby. You dropped a bomb on... Yeah, okay, that's all. Apparently he had a stroke, went into a semi-coma, and he never came out of it.
Really? That's
Yeah.
sad.
They said that he suffered several strokes throughout the years. Yeah, he was 73.
James Michael Tyler. He was the Central Perk coffee shop guy. He played
Oh,
Gunther.
yeah.
Yeah.
He had cancer, right?
Yeah, he had prostate cancer, and he had it, I guess, a couple of years, but he only recently had like announced it, and he was only 59.
Wow.
That was kind of shocking. I was like, oh no.
Peter Scolari passed away too.
Oh, that's right. I heard that one too, and I was sitting there going, wait a minute, why is that familiar? I'm like, bosom buddies.
Yeah.
He also had cancer. You know, cancer just sucks. Cancer just, ugh.
Beep. Cancer. I'm going to say beep. Cancer.
Well, and this was another one that Tawny Katane died.
Yeah. A heart problem.
That was a surprise. She died on May 7th. She was only 59.
That kind of shocked me. That kind of hit me because she was part of the era that I worked in.
Right.
And I kind of got into it a little after her because she was older than me. I ended up working with all the same people in the industry. So it was really like it touched home.
Yeah, they said she had some clogged arteries and she had a common type of heart disease, cardiomyopathy.
Yeah.
So you mix that with a Tylenol and it could be deadly. So, and I remember being little and you have making me watch the video and you're like, look at her hair, look at her hair, look at her hair.
And my hair has been that color ever since I met her hairdresser. It is the same color to this day.
And didn't she marry the White Snake guy?
Yeah, she married David Coverdale. And I think that lasted like 2 years. And then she ended up marrying...
a baseball guy.
Yeah, a baseball guy. One thing that is upcoming, Randy Rhoads has been inducted into this year's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Finally, after all these years. And I cannot wait to see it.
Oh, wow.
So excited about that. Yeah, I'm so excited about that.
I wonder how they're going to do that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I thought maybe Rudy Sarzo would go. He was in Ozzy's band with Randy and in Quiet Riot. It doesn't look like Rudy's going. His sister's going. They have sent over one of Randy's guitars and I believe an outfit that's going to be displayed at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So that's pretty cool. I think they hold on to it for like 10 years and then they'll send it back to the family.
That's nice.
Yeah. I would assume Ozzy would show up, but I don't know how his health is. Supposedly his health is in question. I'm really looking forward to seeing the induction on TV, or they're going to air it on television or not. Whose birthdays are today? Let's mention birthdays. Ralph Macchio. Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, I love him.
His birthday is today. Matthew McConaughey is 51 years old today. It's not an old age. Not by any means.
Adam Ant has a birthday.
Adam Ant?
Yeah.
Is that the news for the day? I think so.
Yeah, I think that's it for today. How about that?
Our first tea time with two Lees.
Make sure that everybody's aware that the November moon is known as the Beaver Moon. And it will be the last lunar eclipse of the year.
So when you say it's a beaver moon, what do you mean?
Well, it's also known as the frosty moon.
Frosty
because
moon.
all of the moons are named. They all have a name because they reflect some part of the season or something's coming up as far as growing out of the earth and nature. And so that's why they all have a name or two. It's called the beaver because it is around the time that the hunters would go trapping for the beavers.
Right.
And get their fur. And the frosty moon is because it's the beginning of the winter season where it's just frosty, not quite full of snow yet.
Ah, good to know. Kendra, what do you think about doing crystal auctions.
That sounds super fun.
Somebody had mentioned it the other day, and they're like, Lisa, you should do. So I was like, okay, I think we can do it. What about doing it, sometime like right after Thanksgiving? Maybe the weekend of Black Friday?
Yeah, that would work for me.
Awesome. Let's do it. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this show. We will be doing the news once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, depending on how busy it is, right?
At least once a week.
Yeah. All right, we'll do that. All right, so thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment below and tell us what you think, any suggestions you might have, and we'll talk to you soon. Have a great week. Bye. Say goodbye, Kendra.
I wanted to see what you would say.
I said, say goodbye, Kendra.
Goodbye, Kendra.
Toodles.
Ciao.
Adios.
Au revoir.
Goodbye.